We don't have plans to raise prices because of tariffs. That's right, they are not lying to you. That is the vow from the CEO of Home Depot amidst rampant inflation, a 28% surge in gas prices, and a frozen housing market. On many forums former employees expose they quietly stuck new price tags pushing the price of electrical wires up by 50%, lawnmowers skyrocketing to $650, and blamed it on shipping costs. At its peak, plywood was reduced from 11 layers to 5 layers, but the price remained the same. Consumers are angrily calling for a boycott, and the wave of switching to Lowe's is rising. But then a shocking turn on Wall Street. The Q1 2026 report announced that Home Depot's revenue reached a record $41.77 billion despite the price hikes and blatant gouging. Why do millions of people still flock to shop here? The secret lies right here. To understand why Home Depot can attract such enormous amounts of money in 2026, we must look at a paradox occurring right in the American real estate market. In simple terms, the current real estate market is literally frozen. If you have the chance to browse through real estate groups or directly step into the suburbs of America at this time, you will immediately feel a gloomy, eerily silent atmosphere. Mortgage rates remain at their peak, and home prices are sky-high, nearly suffocating the dream of buying a new home for the people. The actual data from the National Association of Realtors, NAR, will make you gasp. The sales of existing homes have frozen, stagnating at a low level of about 4.02 million units. Young people can't afford to buy a house, and those who already own one wouldn't be foolish enough to sell it only to take on a new loan with exorbitant interest rates. People are completely trapped in their own living spaces. But this is when Home Depot's economic flywheel kicks in thanks to a move that CEO Ted Decker calls a golden insight. Have you ever wondered, when people can't buy new homes, why do they flock to buy toilets, plywood, and wall paint from Home Depot so much? The answer lies in a very interesting concept in behavioral economics, the wealth effect. Imagine you are a homeowner in the United States. For the past few years, you haven't had to do anything at all, just sit still in your house, watching the market value, and boom, the actual value of your house has skyrocketed by 50%. You suddenly find yourself rich on paper. The feeling of owning a $500,000 asset is so satisfying and makes you feel confident. And so a psychological logic emerges. Oh, I can't buy a new, bigger, and more beautiful villa right now. But our house is appreciating in value. Why don't we use the accumulated money to tear down and rebuild the kitchen, upgrade the garden, to make it truly dazzling and turn it into the most livable place? So instead of flowing into the real estate market, the massive amount of money in society has found a perfect shelter called Home Depot. When I recently stepped into a Home Depot store, looking at the endless aisles, the fragrant smell of pine wood mingling with the sound of cutting machines and the rumble of shopping carts, I finally understood how strong the urge to start doing it was. Individual customers, couples holding hands while choosing paint colors, are willing to spend a little more because they believe that every dollar spent at Home Depot is a direct investment that will increase the value of their home even more. Do you think Home Depot's strategy of leveraging psychology is top-notch? If you find these analyses interesting and enlightening, why hesitate to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel? YouTube's algorithms love this, and it will give me more motivation to delve into business secrets that have never been revealed like this for you. But if it only relied on people who enjoy DIY like you and me, could Home Depot outpace its rival Lowe's to such an astonishing extent? The answer is definitely no. To maintain its throne in 2026, this orange giant also possesses another top-secret weapon, a special group of customers who make up less than 10% of the total, but bear half of the company's revenue. Can you guess who they are? Leave your guess in the comments and we will explore them together in the next section. Now we will dissect the top-secret weapon that helped Home Depot completely crush its longtime rival Lowe's. And this is not just a story about who sells screws cheaper, but a strategic business knockout. Let me explain a reality to you like this. When entering home improvement, supermarket shoppers are often divided into two completely different worlds. The first world is people like you and me, the DIY do-it-yourself customers. We come here because the faucet at home is leaking or we want to buy a potted plant to display on the balcony. We do it ourselves, we enjoy it ourselves. But the shopping cart usually only adds up to a few dozen dollars. The second world is the real gold mine, the group of professional customers, pro customers. They are electricians, plumbers, and seasoned construction contractors. You will easily recognize them by their muddy, protective gear holding blueprints while swimming in huge orders. And here's the number that surprises many people, a secret that you would never realize. If you don't look deeply into the financial reports, the extreme version of the Pareto principle, 80-20. At Home Depot, this group of professional customers accounts for less than 10% of the total number of customers visiting the store. You heard it right, not even 10%. But they are the ones who bear 50% of the total revenue of the entire corporation, equivalent to over $70 billion in peak years. While you and I hesitate over every penny to buy a box of nails, a pro contractor can just swipe a card and finalize an order worth tens of thousands of dollars, including lumber, air compressors, and hundreds of meters of Romex wire to build an entire building. Looking at this chart, you'll immediately understand why Lowe's always ends up tasting the bitter fruit in the two-horse race. While Home Depot has a huge pro customer base, Lowe's is too focused on individual casual customers. The pro customer segment contributes only about 20% to 25% of Lowe's revenue. This strategic mistake became evident in 2026. When the inflation storm swept through, individual consumers tightened their belts, immediately cutting back on spending, stopping the purchase of flowers and plants, or postponing repainting their bedrooms. At this time, Lowe's is struggling due to a severe drop in revenue. On the contrary, Home Depot is thriving with cash flowing in abundantly. Why, you ask? Because a broken water pipe still needs to be repaired and a construction project still requires contractors to purchase materials to stay on schedule. The thousands of dollars orders from the pro group are the sturdy lifebuoy that keeps the orange giant immune to recession. Personally, when I stood at the checkout counter dedicated to pro customers at Home Depot, watching the long stacks of invoices being printed continuously, I was truly overwhelmed by their tremendous purchasing power. They are absolutely loyal, regardless of how much prices increase. If you find this analysis of the core differences too profound and worth learning from, please leave a like and hit subscribe right away. Your support is the greatest source of energy for me to continue creating high-quality financial analysis videos like this. In your opinion, is Home Depot's strategy of putting all their eggs in the VIP customer basket the smartest move in business? Please leave your opinion in the comment section below. But the question is, professional contractors are extremely savvy and price sensitive. So why do they know that Home Depot is raising prices in 2026, but they still refuse to leave? What are they bound by? The secret does not lie in the product, but in a $1.2 billion supply chain monster that Home Depot has quietly built. We will break into this incredible logistics system together in the next part. Welcome to the Nerve Center, where a true supply chain monster is operating. You know, professional contractors, pro, are the ones racing against time. For them, every hour the project is delayed due to a lack of materials costs thousands of dollars. They are ruthlessly pragmatic and extremely price sensitive. However, why in 2026, even though they knew Home Depot was raising prices secretly, could they not leave? The answer is that Home Depot has built an unbreakable economic moat. With a super logistics project worth up to $1.2 billion US, imagine a warehouse with an enormous area equivalent to 14 professional football fields combined. And Home Depot has quietly built 150 such massive wheel distribution centers across North America. Their goal is not conventional retail, but solving the problem of bulky deliveries, the nightmare of every construction project. Standing there watching the heavy trucks of Home Depot line up one after another, rumbling out of the warehouse, carrying tons of plywood, windows, decorative cabinets, and toilets, I was truly overwhelmed by this massive scale. Thanks to this unparalleled distribution network, Home Depot confidently commits to delivering super heavy, super bulky materials directly to the job sites of 90% of the U.S. population on the same day or the next. No private store, not even Lowe's, has the capacity to deliver with such terrifying speed and uniform quantity. Contractors are tightly bound to Home Depot because of this absolute convenience. A bit more expensive. No problem, in return, their project won't be delayed for a second, but it doesn't stop there. The pinnacle of Home Depot's customer engagement lies in their seamless integration of online and offline, creating what is called an economic flywheel. You think a company that sells bricks and hammers would struggle with e-commerce, right? Wow, you're completely mistaken. Home Depot is currently one of the largest online retailers in the United States by volume. Their online channel sales have skyrocketed by 100%. That is, they have doubled in just 2 years of the pandemic. But their genius move lies here. When you order an item on the website instead of waiting for delivery to your home, the vast majority of customers will choose to drive to the store, scan the code, and personally pick up the item from the smart lockers or pro service counter. And it is at the moment the customer steps into the store that Home Depot's behavioral psychology trap begins to close in. Just think about it. You only intended to pick up a box of nails that you had paid for online. But when you step into the vibrant orange space, the fragrant smell of pine wood hits your nose, your eyes catch sight of discount signs and rows of impressive DeWalt drills, you'll tell yourself, oh, since I'm here, why not take a stroll and see if there's anything interesting? And boom, you walk out of the store with a cart full of items that weren't on your list. Numbers don't lie. The 2026 financial report indicates that although the overall number of transactions slightly decreased by 1.3% due to the tough economy, the average amount each customer was willing to spend per transaction surged to $92.76 compared to $90.71 the previous year. The online website has become a funnel for attracting customers, while physical stores are where Home Depot maximizes profit per head. They operate so smartly, don't they? If you are also overwhelmed by this monstrous economic flywheel of Home Depot, then give me a like and subscribe to the channel right away. These small actions of yours are the biggest encouragement for me to continue creating such visually and audibly appealing business analysis videos, possessing a powerful supply chain and a top-notch e-commerce engine. But there is an undeniable truth: consumers are getting increasingly angry. The wave of criticism against Home Depot for engaging in political sharing and exploiting inflation to excessively raise prices. Greedflation is rising higher than ever on social media. What media dark corners is this giant facing in 2026? Is customer patience limited? We will uncover this dark side together in the next section. At this point, I want us to look straight at a stark reality behind the tens of billions of dollars of Home Depot's glory. We have praised their strategy, marveled at their supply chain, but for those who will be directly reaching into their wallets in 2026, the reality is a lingering pain. Have you ever heard of the term greedflation? This is the key word that is booming on financial forums. Analysts and savvy consumers realize that Home Depot is playing a very sophisticated media game. In the media, they blame tariffs, a 28% increase in gas prices, and supply chain disruptions to justify the price hikes. But when looking at the financial reports, while the cost of goods sold increased, their gross profit margin remained anchored at a massive 33%. To put it bluntly, they are taking advantage of the situation. They exploit our fear of inflation to raise prices far beyond actual input costs solely to accumulate massive profits. The audience on Reddit angrily called this a tactic of blaming circumstances to legally pocket consumers' money. But the most heartbreaking thing is, that is the complete helplessness and surrender of the consumers. In economics, the home improvement sector belongs to the group with inelastic demand. If the price of a shirt or pants goes up, you can refrain from buying them. But if the water pipe in your house bursts at midnight, the roof leaks after a storm, or the electrical wiring in the wall shorts out, you can say, well, let's wait for inflation to cool down and then fix it. Definitely not. You must fix it, and you must fix it immediately to protect your family. I myself have also been in that situation. Standing in front of the Home Depot aisle, holding a roll of electrical wire that had increased in price by 50% compared to before, the feeling at that moment was truly frustrating and helpless. You know you're being overcharged. You hate that the company's leadership has made controversial political statements. You even swore to boycott them and switch to Lowe's. But in the end, you still have to sigh, put the item in the cart, and head to the checkout. Why? Because out there is no better option. With a scale of 30,000 to 40,000 items in a store, Home Depot has everything you need right away. The scale monopoly has turned them into the only choice, transforming our anger into indifferent revenue figures. Do you feel this injustice when shopping during the current inflationary period? If this video resonates with you and provides you with a deep perspective, please support me with a like and subscribe. Your support is the motivation for the channel to continue revealing such harsh economic truths. Please leave a comment below. Do you think consumers will forever accept this pressure from the retail giants? Home Depot has triumphed thanks to the customer's helplessness and an excessively vast ecosystem. But will this throne remain unshakable as we move into the second half of 2026? What million-dollar lessons must any business person deeply engrave in their hearts? From this case study, we will summarize and find the answer in the conclusion right after this. So we have together embarked on a long journey to uncover the entire truth behind the giant shadow named Home Depot in 2026. The story of this giant has left business people and consumers like us with lessons worth millions of dollars. Home Depot did not win by selling the cheapest products, nor did they need to please everyone. Their absolute dominance comes from an incredibly cold but effective strategic mindset, positioning themselves as an inseparable part of the economy. By tightly binding the professional customer group through a $0.2 billion super logistics system and fully leveraging the psychological ownership effect of homeowners, Home Depot has turned itself into a must-visit destination. When a brand has infiltrated essential needs and created an ecosystem with no alternatives, even if prices continue to rise, people will still grumble while reaching for their wallets to step into their stores. That is the pinnacle of supply chain monopoly power. At this point, I would really like to hear your perspectives. What do you think about this economic gamble by Home Depot? In the near future, does Lowe's have a chance to dethrone this throne if they change their strategy and focus more on contractors, or will consumers find another way to save their wallets from the wave of greedflation? Please leave your opinions, real experiences, or any questions you have in the comments section below, and I will scroll down and discuss with everyone. If you feel that today's video has provided you with fresh financial knowledge, interesting information, and helped you understand more deeply how the business world operates, then don't forget to give it a like, share this video with your friends, and hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell right next to it. Your support, no matter how small, is the most valuable asset that helps the channel gain more funding and motivation to continue producing high-quality economic analysis films, delving deeper and more incisively in the future. Before concluding the video, I would also like to remind everyone that all the content, financial data, analysis, and opinions shared in this video are solely for the purpose of providing information, education, and pure entertainment from the perspective of a content creator. This is not and should not be considered as financial investment advice, stock trading recommendations, HD or low, or any legal advice. The stock and real estate markets always carry unpredictable volatility risks. Always stay alert, conduct thorough research on your own, do your own research, and take full responsibility for your personal financial decisions. Thank you all very much for staying with me until these final moments. Goodbye, and see you again in the next videos on our channel.